Welcome to Witchcraft and Wrinkle Cream, the podcast where skin rituals become soul rituals and self-love becomes a sacred rebellion. I'm Ashley Branham, licensed esthetician, skin witch, and your high priestess of the Glow Coven. Together, we're unlearning perfection, embracing sensuality, aging with power, and reclaiming our confidence, the kind that got buried under beauty culture bullshit. Here, we're shedding shame and learning to love the skin we're in at every age and every stage. So light a candle, pour your potion, and let's begin the ritual. Hey Glow Coven, welcome back to Witchcraft and Wrinkle Cream. I do apologize if my voice leaves the chat at some point during this podcast. I just got back from literally closing down a coffee shop with my esty bestie. We talked for hours, so my throat's a little sore, but let's be honest. How often do you treat your skincare like a to-do list item? Like brushing your teeth, doing the dishes, and shaving your legs. Something you should do, but maybe you resent it just a little bit. I get it. We're busy. We're overstimulated, and the world has sold us the story that skincare is either vanity or punishment. It's either performance for the world or a consequence of not being perfect. But what if I told you that skincare could be something entirely different? Something sacred, something a little sensual, something that reconnects you with your body, your breath, your softness. That's what we're talking about today. How to shift your skincare mindset from chore to ceremony. And I'm going to take you back to this completely random, totally magical moment that started this shift for me. All right, fam. So here is the tea. I don't want to say that I was doom scrolling Amazon because that is so not my normal MO. But I was on Amazon and I was probably avoiding doing chores or something, and I stumbled across this listing for a bundle of small canvas cosmetic bags with witchy graphics on them. One had like a crescent moon, one said support your local coven. They were super cute and I needed to have them. I needed them. But I didn't have any reason to have them. But I couldn't stop thinking about them. Like days went by and I kept thinking about these stupid bags and I couldn't figure it out. And so I was like, okay, obviously you can't get these out of your mind. So you're supposed to buy them. So I started brainstorming ways to justify buying these bags. Because I try really hard not to buy things that I don't have a purpose or use for. And I came up with, after several days of brainstorming and trying to justify buying these bags. I mean, they weren't expensive, but like, you know, you want to have a reason to buy something. And after a few days, I landed on putting together a self-love ritual kit. Bought the bags, and then I started buying other things. Incense cones. I designed in Canva little affirmation cards, printed them out on my laser printer, laminated them with a lamination machine that we got from Walmart. It was a whole shebang. It was one of those things where it's like I didn't overthink it in terms of talking myself out of the thing, but I overthought it in terms of the execution. But they turned out so cute. I was so happy with them. This was like the whole pièce de résistance. I formulated an herbal facial oil that I handpicked all of the ingredients specifically to have metaphysical properties that related either to healing or to love. Specifically, self-love is the energy we're going for. And that was the moment that I knew deep down that my path was more than just skincare. It was about skin ritual. It was about healing and mysticism and spirit-led beauty. I didn't know how to fully embody that yet, not publicly at least. So I made little subtle shifts. I started using the language of ritual with a lot of my clients. I talked about self-care as being sacred, but I wasn't quite brave enough to dive all the way back in. But now I am all in. I'm a full skin witch, no apologies, no holding back, no nothing. So, here's why this matters. Not just for me, but for you too. When we treat skincare like a chore, the energy behind it is disconnected, rushed, judgy, like we're scanning our reflection for flaws and trying to fix them as fast as possible. But when you shift into ritual, your whole vibe changes. Suddenly, your bathroom becomes a sacred space. Your hands become healing tools. Your products become potions. And your face becomes the altar, a mirror, and a map of your existence. Ritual doesn't have to mean bells and incense and crystals, although, I love all those things. Ritual just means presence. It means intention. Ritual means you're not just going through the motions, you're coming home to yourself. So, if this feels new or intimidating, please do not think that you need to turn your bathroom into a witchy apothecary overnight. You can start incredibly small. Here are some ways you can begin. Begin with breath. Before you even touch your face, pause, close your eyes, and ask, what do I need right now? Even 3 seconds can make a huge difference. You can bless your products. It doesn't matter if it's a fancy serum or drugstore moisturizer. Say something kind as you apply it. Let it be a blessing, not a task. Add a sensory anchor, candlelight, soft music, a warm towel, a scent that makes you feel like a little swaddled baby. Massage slowly. Let your hands linger, not for perfection, but for presence. If you find a spot that feels particularly good, focus on that. Chase that good feeling. Use affirmations. This is sacred time. I am allowed to rest. My skin feels safe with me. It doesn't have to be those. You can Google affirmations. Doesn't matter. This isn't about a performance. It is about connection. Your skin is alive. It is a living organism. It remembers how you treat it. Speak to it with reverence. All right. So I was going to shuffle this live and react with you to this card, but I've had some little technical difficulties. And so unfortunately, that raw first reaction has been lost to us. But I did pull the Emperor card. In fact, the Emperor card pulled me while I was shuffling. She jumped right out at me into my lap. So obviously, this is the card. I was so tempted to re-record this segment the first time that I had to re-record it and reshuffle and pull another card. But if I've learned anything over the last 8 years of reading tarot, it's that you can run from the cards, but you cannot escape them. So the Emperor is the card that came up today. This is the card we're going to stick with. It is a card that I have had a love-hate relationship with for as long as I've been learning the tarot. The Emperor and the Hierophant, which is the very next card in the Major Arcana. And I'm using the Modern Witch tarot for this, which is the deck that I have been using. If you look in my story highlights, you can see what the cards look like. But I digress. I'm going to read to you from the guidebook first. Boundaries and structure make us feel safe. The Emperor is full of authority and creates a world full of rules and laws. She is a comforting answer to the chaos of the natural world, but she is rigid and uncompromising on her stony throne. She requires logic and reason above all else, and she is unafraid to lead and take the reins to shape the world around her. Though she lords over a powerful and grand cityscape, the river of life has slowed to a trickle behind her. Protect yourself if you need to. Don't allow others to walk all over you. And don't be afraid to stand up, take charge, and force change. Logic and reason may be the best approach for a particular problem. And by creating some stability in your life, you may be able to release some anxiety. Don't lose touch with your compassion, though. Stubbornness and stoicism will not always be the best answer. And so I'm going to describe the card to you. First of all, the Emperor card relates to the sign of Taurus. It is earth-centered, element of earth, which is grounding. Earth signs tend to be very logic and facts-based. Capricorns, in my experience, the most so. But Taurans, I have a tiny Taurus here in my home. And he can be very logical at times, asks a lot of questions, especially if he doesn't understand why something is happening. He will ask, and he will make sure you know, I don't understand. This makes no sense to me. And Taurans can also be very stubborn. And my Taurus is, if nothing else, stubborn. So this card, I kind of feel, and this is not my first time interpreting it, but I'm trying really hard to keep things concise and condensed. Boundaries was literally the first word in the description in the guidebook, and that's the word that really jumps out the most for me in this situation. Putting up boundaries, specifically in regards to the subject matter of today's podcast episode. Creating a boundary with yourself or with the people that you cohabitate with, if you do cohabitate with others. Just letting them know, having a conversation of like, hey, so I feel like I would like to spend a little bit more time on myself. And, whatever that looks like for you, everyone's going to be different. But just for example, say you want to spend an extra 10 minutes once a week on your skincare routine. So sit down with if you have a romantic partner or if you are a parent, and just lay out the guidelines to people. Like, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is what you're not going to do while I'm doing this thing. Let them know I'm going to be putting my AirPods in and either playing a playlist or whatever audiobook I'm into right now or a podcast. And I'm going to lock the door. And don't come knocking on the door because I'm not going to be able to hear you. Bonus points if you have an ensuite bathroom in your bedroom and you can lock both doors. Create a little airlock buffer space in between you and the bathroom door, where they can't get past the bedroom door, and then you really can't hear them. But just let them know, hey, I'm going to be doing this. It's not up for negotiation. It's not up for debate. I'm going to be spending more time on myself, and I deserve to, and you do deserve to. So that is my interpretation of the Emperor card for today's podcast episode. Where can you, or who can you set some boundaries with around your skincare routine, your self-care ritualization? All right. So this way of tending to your skin, it's not about fixing or perfecting. It's about remembering. It's about coming back into communion with your body and realizing she's never needed punishment or hustle or 12-step routines. She's just needed you. So here's your invitation this week. Choose one small thing to ritualize. Maybe your cleanser, maybe your SPF, maybe just the breath that you take before bed. But let that one act be sacred. And if you want to deepen this practice, I have a few tools to support you. From the Golden Hour Glow ritual in the treatment room to my free Skin Witch ritual guide. Check the link in the show notes for that one. You can also tag me at lively_aesthetics_ and show me your skin ritual setup. I live for a dreamy counter altar moment. I need to work on mine. We have a very small bathroom, so that may be a project for future house. But also send me selfies of your before bed face. You know, let's have a little glazed donut moment. Put your self-love ritual oil on, or your moisturizer, or a sheet mask, or whatever. Bonus points if you have an LED face mask. Send me pictures of yourself in those. And if you give permission, I would love to share those to my Instagram stories. If not, I will not. So yeah. Until next time, stay sacred, stay glowing, and as always, support your local skin witch. I love you. Bye.